Hey, this is She Writes Well Too. Been gone for a minute, but I am back today with another blog topic. Just wanted to talk briefly about black women in general. What I've noticed is that when I'm in a relationship with black men, as opposed to dating Puerto Rican men, white men, whomever. And before you say I'm race hating, it's really not anything to do with race hating. It's just something I've seen across the board. I think personally, what leaves black women so upset, and once they're out of a relationship, in my experience personally, I've seen it, I've been through it, to feel like bitter and resentful, and you just become this over analytical person in regards to yourself. And oh my God, was I attractive enough? Could I have been more skinny? Could I have done my hair different? What could I have done to jump through hoops to make this man chase me or make this man want to be with me? Scratch that, ladies. I just wanted to say in general, black women, what I have noticed, when you're in relationships with black men, you generally have to operate in your masculine energy. And it's like something just hit me, and I just realized, in the way of life, in the grand scheme of life, in the way that things work, women are supposed to bring their emotions and their motherhood and just those things to cultivate home life and family to the table, which allows them to relax, be submissive, and operate from a feminine perspective, okay? That allows us to be delicate and stay attractive and be nice and just calm for the most part. Everything flows that way. But on the other end of that, when you have black women, when you get into these relationships with, be it black men sometimes, but it can be any race of men that operate this way. When you get into these relationships with these emasculated males that are hyper feminine and, hyper emotional, and everything is emotionally impulsive based decisions, and that'll be the type of person that wakes up in the morning and quits his job just because he got in an argument with someone at work, or he didn't like the way someone looked at him. Those men that tend to be very gossipy and into spreading rumors and just overall wanting to constantly celebrate the downfall of someone else. And usually it's other black women or women in general. But nonetheless, when you are noticing that the men that you attract in your life seem to be these non-provider, angry at the world, hyper feminine-esque mannerisms type men, then you have to look at yourself and say, well, what is the problem here? What is it in the grand scheme? What is it that I'm doing to perhaps attract these type of men? Well, I hate to tell you, black women, 9 times out of 10, we are operating in our masculine energy. We are becoming mules and mammies and making sure that there's nothing wrong with providing for yourself or stepping up for your man or your family when it calls for it, when it needs to. But as a black woman, your sole purpose in life should not be to just please another black man who is not really interested in pleasing you, who's there to sabotage your dreams, sabotage any goal that you have that might make you less financially dependent on him. And some of these men even are so feminine and hateful, they will literally rather sabotage you financially than to have you be in a place where you are financially independent. But nonetheless, black women, when you're operating in your masculine energy, it doesn't work. The relationships don't work that way, because the way that it's supposed to be is that women, again, are supposed to relax and be feminine, take care of family, take care of home, rear children, and take care of their husband. Basically, you're there to provide all the emotional support your children and husband should need. But when you're operating in your masculine energy, which is where it's coming from with a lot of black men, which is why a lot of black women are getting upset, because they feel like they keep running into the same type of guy who doesn't want to provide, who doesn't really have any goals, who doesn't value family and just making things permanent. This is the type of guy that doesn't value marriage, and everything is more of this whole, go with the flow mindset. But when you meet that kind of guy and you're operating in your masculine, the way that the world works is there has to be a balance of both masculine and feminine energy. So if you feel like you're, as a woman, as a black female specifically, are always worried about where the money's coming from, how you're going to pay bills, you're stressing, you're the type that goes to work every single day, doesn't want to miss a day of work because you want to make sure your man is comfortable and taken care of, no problem. Ladies, I can understand if the guy is sick or just has some, physical or mental disabilities or got in a car accident. All those things are acceptable explanations for stepping in just for that moment in time to help out and carry the load, as you should in marriage because you're partners. But what I'm talking about is typical mammy and mule behavior that I've seen from black women, and I'm honest and going to say this has been me. This has been myself. And you tend to get in relationships with men who do not value family, do not value saving money, do not value providing for you, and they do not value providing for themselves. So what does that look like? That looks like the man that just either goes to work or doesn't really go to work, goes to work here and there. He's really a temporary decision maker. He doesn't plan for anything long term. He is Mr. Go with the flow. So nonetheless, ladies, your relationships will always end up tragically sad and tragically just turning out to be something that's disappointing for you and himself. Because I don't care what a man tells you, men like to feel like they're wanted, they like to feel appreciated, and they like to feel like they're a provider. So if your relationships tend to be a little bit lopsided in the men that you've been choosing and dating, at the end of the day, if you are bitter and angry because you have a man that is not providing for you, all you're going to do is be in a relationship where you constantly disrespect, you constantly emasculate, because in the grand order of life, both of you are out of pocket. A female should not have to operate in masculine energy to get along in life, and a man should not have to operate in feminine energy to get along in life. Anytime those two roles are reversed, the relationship is just going to be a disappointment on both ends. So ladies, this is She Writes Well Too. Let this be a word to the wise and stop operating in your masculine energy. It is okay to provide for yourself and to want to step in an emergency situation or sometimes. But just in general, do not get in relationships with men who are temporary thinkers, who don't value family, who don't value making long-term decisions, and who don't value even providing for themselves. Because honestly, if he can't provide for his day-to-day, then what is he actually going to do for you? What would be the point of you making a long-term commitment to that person? Something to think about. She Writes Well Too. I'm signing off.